Good day, guys. Welcome back to yet another episode of Virtual Podcasts at Royal Music Marketing. I've got my boy here with me all the way from Boston, Massachusetts. One of the greatest sensations of this upcoming year, to be very honest with you. I've got my boy here, Brodie. Brodie, it's a pleasure having you here once again. Tell me, man, how's your day going?
Day's going pretty good, productive. Just been doing outreach and marketing and just a lot of online presence work.
I mean, that's so great to hear.
Legwork,
Now, sounds good. So, there are a lot of things that we're going to be talking about because, this is our second episode. The first episode, just giving my viewers a bit of recap. We talked about Brodie's upcoming story, how he started coming into the music side, and his come up story with some of his tracks. And our podcast was pretty much just based on Brodie's life. Now, in the second podcast, Brodie, there's a lot that I personally need to talk about to let our viewers know about a few things related to your upcoming releases. And since this is the first month of 2024, so as your fans and as not your marketers, as your fans, we're looking out for a lot of new stuff from you. So question number one that I got for you is about this new track, Take a Picture, that you just released. Okay, I actually want to know about the come up story about this track. How did it came into existence? What was that time when you actually came up with this? Tell our viewers about this.
I recorded this picture actually a couple of years ago. Actually, I believe it was right after COVID restrictions had lifted in mid 2021. And I was just back outside, and I felt really good. It was summertime. I believe it was around April or May. And I just felt good being able to live again. And I just started going full force with the music. I was making music before, but I was taking it more seriously than I ever was once I was able to get back outside. And it was just one of those things you can take a picture for the moment, but don't get caught up in the moment. It's all about the journey. And that's kind of what the song is all about. Hey, you can take a picture, but that's only for right now. I'll see you at the top. You know what I mean? And I'll take a picture when I get there too, I promise.
True.
And let those moments stay as moments. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, that is interesting. But speaking of the track in general, now, I personally, I do not get that amazed with, once, I listen to music. I look at it really, I would say, technically. Now, technically speaking, this track is a perfect composition of, the lyrics are syncing, the beat drop, the introduction, the chorus. They're so well managed. So, what was the picture behind the tune that you came up with this track in particular?
Actually, the cover art would sum it up perfectly, and it's kind of funny how that worked out because I took that picture 2 years after I made the song, and it was when I was in Los Angeles, and I was standing on the top of Beverly Hills with a photographer, and I was like, this is the top. I'm on my way to the top, and I can see it now. And so that was kind of the image, when you've gotten to the goal that you've been wanting to reach for a long time, and then turning around and taking a picture of what you've done, that was kind of the premise of it, was always taking into account what you're doing and why you're doing it, and I think it's important to relish in those moments while moving forward. You know what I mean? Continuing to move forward. And I guess with that song, I wanted to embody that, the journey of an artist, really striving to reach the pinnacle of their career. What's the highest height I can reach? You know what I mean?
And to answer that question, what do you think? Where do you see yourself? What's the peak of your career, if we're so to speak?
I guess I have different milestones for I guess different periods of my life that I want to reach. Within the next 5 years, I would really like to get some sort of publishing deal or distribution deal going where like I can just really scale my reach and my audience and kind of go global with it. um and then like as I mature as an artist, like I would like to be, because like you can't be a performer forever. I mean, some people try to do it, but I don't see myself performing my rap songs when I'm 45, 50 years old. I mean, unless it's like a throwback show and somebody asks me to. But like, I mean, my long-term goal is to always be in some form involved in music. And for right now, it's getting discovered. Like I want to climb the ladder and of like like I want to get to the top of being a music artist, being a recording artist, like getting in the rooms with these major artists, these major labels, producers, and like just making my footprint. And then once that's done, like, and like I'm comfortable with where I'm at with it, then like I want to branch into other things. Like one of my long-term goals is to work on movie scores and make soundtracks for movies. Like that's my end game with music, probably. Like, when I'm in my 40s and 50s, I want to still be musically involved, but like more in a more broad creative sense than just as a
Like, I
recording
mean,
artist.
like as a rapper, if we're talking about, let's just say Snoop Dogg and, Dr. Dre, I mean, these guys are well above 40, 45, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, end of the day, I mean, their approach towards music and, rapping is a bit different. Like, they're not involved directly into this, show business, I would say, movies or, any of that sort. But yes, they are recording still. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and I mean, as artists, they're also, I would say, they've created a brand out of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that's a part of your growth as well? Like maybe you want to create a brand out of yourself. It's something that will definitely get you recognition. Despite the music that you make, right? So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
like Curtis Brody is technically not just a rapper or an artist. He's something else. He's just like Dr. Dre. So
Yeah.
maybe coming out with your own line of maybe things and working upon that, because end of the day I personally think there are two things that an artist is after. Obviously, the one thing I would say is the passion side of music, and that is
Mm-hmm.
more inclined towards, I would say, building a fan base and going global, performing, recording, collaborating, and all that stuff.
Yes.
And I would say the other aspect is generating revenue, because that's a
Yeah.
really important factor. And
I agree.
like even if we talk about these Canadian big shots like Drake or Justin Bieber, or I mean these artists, they well managed to score a really strong foundation
Mm-hmm.
on generating revenue,
Very true.
let alone, I mean, just making music and I mean all these things. But yes, it is important. So as your fan, as your personal fan now, I've got my eye as well on you, and like I've got an ear to something that is in the final processes of being released. So tell me about it. Like, what are we expecting next week?
It's actually releasing tomorrow. It's this song called Greatest Memory, and it's kind of like a culmination of like all the experiences that I've had throughout my journey as like finding myself as a music artist, and just kind of like expressing that to people, you know what I mean? Like there's been a lot of up and downs. Like, and I want to showcase them to people like, hey, these are the things that I've done, that I've created, that I've thought of, like the concepts, ideas, whatever it may be, like, and like I want to present them to people on a silver platter. And I guess like, and in the chorus it says, make this one your greatest memories. You're going to want to collect a set of these, so like I want to give people like almost like with each song, I want it to be like feel like a highlight reel, like of like my where I'm at mentally, creatively, artistically, and this one I think is gonna be special. I performed this one and people have been waiting on it for a while now. And
Like on what occasions did you perform this? I mean, it seems to be a bit on the emotional side because it represents your struggles and how you actually came to where you are at this point. So, like, what occasion do you think suits the most in this particular track?
that's a good question. So the song isn't sad. It's actually in a more like uplifting sense.
Motivating?
Yeah, it's definitely an upbeat, motivating song with like a lot of depth in the lyrics, but not necessarily like melancholic or anything like that. It's more, little more introspective and just like a little bit more of a dip into like my headspace as an artist. Whereas like, a song like Take a Picture, like that one feels like a moment in time, you know what I mean? And then like the greatest memory is meant to feel like more than just one moment. It's a timeline, you know what I mean? And I think people will definitely hear that as the song progresses and they like take in different parts of it because it kind of feels like a roller coaster ride. It's there's a lot of thrills. There's a lot of like moments where like there's build up, and I think people are really gonna get an essence of like who I am as an artist with this one, if they
So,
haven't
I
yet.
mean, so to speak, I mean, it would be more focused on the lyrics part, right?
Well,
Like
it
one has
has
to actually understand that.
yeah, but I mean it has production value on in line with Take a Picture like that, really like synth driven. So like it sounds like kind of sounds like you're on a like a amusement park ride. You know what I mean? But this one would be through memory lane and from a positive lens. You know what I mean? Like looking back, like Take a Picture was like like I'm on my way to a certain place and I am taking note of the moments. I'm taking pictures. I'm taking note of the moments. Greatest memory is meant to be like this is the journey, not where I'm going. You know what I mean?
Oh, makes sense. Yeah,
Uh,
true. So I mean, yeah, I mean, both are, I think like I haven't obviously heard greatest memory of all time, but it seems to be, more, close to you as an artist, I would say,
mm,
considering, it's covering, a longer duration of your journey, right?
yes, I would say so.
Makes sense. Okay. But yeah, I mean, speaking of which, like what do
I
you
think you're gonna like
exactly
it.
have planned? I am hoping so. Like I got this, to hear from John, like our middleman, and I was really keen to, know more about it, and and like has he heard that part? But obviously, I didn't get to. So, which is why I was giving our viewers a bit of heads up about this track, especially. So tell me, like in general, like what do you have planned? Because like I personally think that we need a big jump right now. Like we need like to elevate ourselves to like and on another level, I would say.
Mm.
So like, what do you have for us like in these next 12 months?
So 2024, I'm gonna be releasing a lot more music than I've ever released ever, since I started making music. Like I wanna
Wow.
And I need to convince John of this because he was being like, "Oh, be careful how often you're releasing." But I mean, I have enough songs done to release every week this year. Like, but that's not feasible. It doesn't make sense in terms of growing a brand, in terms of building a business. It would just so I would say expect at least one or two songs every month, at the very least.
At the
Um,
very least. Okay, so that's gonna be more than freaking 20 songs a year.
yes,
Wow,
yes.
that's huge. That's
Yeah,
huge.
this year I was speaking to somebody recently who's actually like a music contract lawyer, and I'm actually going to be bringing him onto my team as like a mentor, a counselor, and I showed him 30 songs, and he thought I was a fool for having them, and nobody else has heard them yet. So it's time to go 100% full force on in terms of releasing music. And alongside that, like I'm growing my branding. I have multiple music videos that are being finished as we speak. Three actually right now that I can think of. Um, a lot of photo shoots. I'm gonna be traveling. I'm gonna be looking to get as much publication done as possible, magazines, podcasts, blogs. Like everything I can possibly get my hands into is gonna be the goal this year. It's basically about scaling. Like I've developed myself as an
Yeah.
artist for years now, and I feel like I'm finally at a point where it's like I could not make another song for 6 months and it wouldn't affect my release schedule. It wouldn't affect my creative process or my ability to get in the studio and make a new song within a time constraint. Because, I've at this point I've found myself with such a surplus of music that I almost feel wrong writing and recording new songs, because every new song I make nudges another one back down the line of when they're gonna get released. You know what I mean? So I expect a lot of music this year, a lot of visuals, a lot of growth, a lot of growth.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of visuals, I mean, are they mostly, I would say, like in general, or is it something that you're coming up with yourself? Like normally, when we look at visuals, we from two aspects. Now, the first aspect that as a marketer, we look at it is from the trending point of view. Now, the trends that are currently happening, or if you're doing something that is unique and hasn't happened before,
Okay.
that as a marketer, one can use like a small portion of that visual to basically help market it on TikTok. Just like I mean, they're basically stupid moves, I would say, because like end of the day, you basically have heard that song known as like, I think it was called Kiki, Do You Love Me or something, right?
Yes, yeah, by Drake, yeah.
And that got viral. Yeah, I mean, it was like bullcrap. Honestly, I actually didn't like it much, but it got
That's
so
fair.
viral. But yeah, so we look at it. There are some things like there was this song back in the day, Gangnam Style or something.
Oh, I know the
And
one.
there was the stupid dance moves. I mean, they got so viral end of the day, and those are something that are the trends that we look at. If there's a part of any video of any track that has the potential to go viral, you start basically targeting different influencers and YouTubers to just create small short clips of them,
Yep.
and that is one way of getting it viral. The second aspect that we look at a video from in general is that like most of the artists, they're trying to come up with a story
Yes.
of their track in the visuals form. So the quality of the shooting comes into place there, because with the trends, the quality is not a priority really.
No.
Now, with the second aspect, it's a really important factor. So the question that I wanted to ask you was that, are you more focused in the storytelling through your visuals, or are you coming up with something that is entertaining and could be like a potentially trend to we can like set it up as a trend or something?
There's definitely like a fine line that I've been trying to ride with that, in terms of like quality content and like, hey, this is who I am as not only a person but as an artist, and also taking in the like the concept of like what is going to be presentable to the most amount of people. And I've experimented with this a little bit with different video styles, and I've found that like cool, captivating visuals with some sense of like storyline really gets people's attention. And like the old style of music videos with like the flashy edits, and it's like completely overproduced and edited, and like there's filters and effects flying everywhere, like
Yeah.
those can work for the right artist, but like I feel like those are more for like a certain niche of rap these days, whereas like my music style lends itself less to like clickbait type of stuff, it more towards like conceptual thought out like visuals and like I guess like creative content and the sorts. I don't think that
Right.
I don't nobody knows how to make something go viral, so like I try not to worry about that and just try to and try to be as consistent as possible and just like put out the best quality content I can. You know what I mean?
Now, that is the main thing. You can actually never come up with something that's going to go viral.
No.
I mean, obviously, with the trends that are ongoing, it either has to be really good,
Yes.
or it's got to be shitty as fuck. So, at the end of the day, you can't actually judge with something, if it's going to go viral or
No,
not.
you
But
can't.
yeah, so you just got to be, consistent and make sure, you're providing your viewers and your fans the best quality of something. You're actually sustaining, because sustainability is something that is, I would say, a really important factor here. Like, getting fans is one part of the job. Now, the second part is to actually sustain these people. And the way you can sustain them, I would say in general, could be, being consistent, staying active upon your social media, interacting with the fans who are trying to engage with you, coming up with something that actually, has their interest. All these kind of small tips and tricks, can actually help you, sustaining your fans, sustaining your audiences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's do like a small rapid fire here. Okay.
Okay.
So there are going to be one word answers now.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be asking you a couple questions, and it's gonna be like quickly.
Great.
So let's begin with our rapid fire questions, Brodie.
Sure.
So, biggest inspiration.
Timbaland and Drake.
Great. And inspiration in terms of music. Like, what inspires you to make the best music?
Honestly, my brain just never stops coming out with ideas. Like I needed a conduit for my thoughts, and music was the only thing that made sense.
Okay. Who would you collaborate with in recording, like a new track?
Who would I?
Yeah.
Timbaland.
So who would you like perform on a live stage with?
Ooh, would love to perform with The Weeknd, or probably this singer Ray, Raye. She's amazing.
Ray, yeah, obviously we know that. And who will you not collaborate with?
Playboy Cardi. Don't see the hype. I don't get it. Just don't get it.
I don't want to lose my fan base here, but still, I agree with Brodie here. All right. So,
He had great music. Don't know what happened.
true. I mean, there was like an insane downfall. Like initially, I mean, he had what it takes, but I would say, like personally talking, it is not what it actually used to be. So, okay. So next question. Say, you were to go on a tour.
Yes.
Okay, global tour. Like out of these options, who would you select going with? So I would say The Weeknd. All right. Ray. In terms of rapping, I would, maybe add, let's just say Timbaland. Out of these three, tell me one option.
The
Or Drake.
Weeknd.
4 options.
I would say, Drake. I would make millions of dollars touring with Drake. But if I were to choose somebody based on music, it would probably be The Weeknd. I've seen him live. He's an unbelievable performer, and I could only hope to ever be on the same stage as that man.
Okay. And so, thoughts about Coldplay performing live?
Coldplay.
Yeah.
Okay. Coldplay. Wow. I mean, I used to listen to them a lot growing up. I think that, I haven't heard them in a long time, but, I would love to see them live. I really would.
I mean, when I listen, look at some Instagram stories about Coldplay concerts, I mean, they're crazy. I mean, I don't see many huge concerts such as his, and, Coldplay is really good. So, okay, next question, though. So, East Coast rap versus West Coast rap.
East Coast. I was just on the West Coast, and I performed a show. I was the only East Coast artist on the show, and they were all really talented artists, but their styles are very similar. You know what I mean? And I feel like the East Coast has a very wide variety of styles, very, very wide style. Whereas most of the West Coast is California, so it's similar culture, you know what I mean? Whereas New York and Boston and Jersey, think of Jersey club, versus some New York drill. They're similar, but they're completely different takes on similar instrumentals. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and then like you go further down the coast, you get to like the Carolinas or like Georgia, and it's so different from the Northeast, you know? So like East Coast all day.
Okay, so Tupac, Biggie Smalls. Who would you choose?
I would choose Biggie Smalls.
Okay, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg.
Personally, Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
Personally.
And it's a good
Yeah.
beat. Okay. So Cardi B or Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj, definitely.
All right. I think they answer a lot of questions. So I mean, it was an interesting rapid fire with you. I actually got to know a bit about your taste as well. So
I mean, I like Cardi B, but like Nicki Minaj, she's classic. She's a classic. Her new album was really good.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out though. I'm still gonna have to though. Okay, so it was an interesting rapid fire session with you, Brodie. And I think this concludes our podcast as well, pretty much, because like it's gonna be like a 30-minute podcast. I think we're at that mark. So
awesome.
I am gonna be ending this for our viewers, your fans. As you guys know, it's always an honor to host Brodie, and you know we're gonna shoot a lot of more podcasts with my boy here. He's like literally the best person, artist, songwriter, producer, rapper. I mean, whatever it is you're gonna put on him, he's that multi-talented person that one actually looks for in an artist. And the best part, talking as like a marketer, he's the most consistent person I've ever seen, and that is what we need. So I'm looking and I'm wishing all the best for Brodie's success and for the new track that is to release tomorrow. And we're looking for this. Really excited about this, Brodie. And I wish you all the best. And you take care. So always has us as your marketers, because our growth is basically directly related to your growth, and we want to be part of your growth. Okay, so yeah, that is pretty much it, Brodie.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I will have you very soon in another podcast session here, and we'll talk about some new things as well. All right.
Awesome. See you guys.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
See you guys. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Next episode.
Yo, what's up, man? Fuck. It's that time already? Shit. Alright. I'm on my way down right now. Alright, I'll be there in a second.
Nothing in this life is promised. If I'm gonna be honest, we ain't gotta rush, girl, I'm honest. But it's gotta be flawless, 'cause nothing in this life is promised. I'm just trying to be honest. We ain't gotta rush, girl, I'm honest. But it's gotta be flawless. If you wanna beef over cheese, no, I'm down for sending subs. I'ma keep the case clean, I won't shroud it in no love. Getting laced at the seams, turning powder into dust. I need space for my team, it's getting crowded in the club. And now I walk with a goddess. She a full course meal while all you got is a garnish. My lips stay sealed and they toss you regardless. But I'm always the calmest when I'm shooting for the stars. Opponents fall like the comets. I don't fall into comments, I just call out my conscience. Tend to sit inside my thoughts and let you all be obnoxious. Tomorrow isn't promised, so I'm all in the process. It's a go-getter mindset, don't like being cautious. Nothing in this life is promised. If I'm gonna be honest, we ain't gotta rush, girl, I'm honest. But it's gotta be